Hello everyone, I'm back, and today I kind of want to rant about the really annoying job search that I've been having to go through because I was gone for like 4 months because there's a lot of wacky stuff going on, and I honestly also just forgot to upload as well. But suffice to say, I lost the job I had before, and I'm going to talk about all the really frustrating experiences I've had trying to get a new one. Luckily for me, I had to like move out and all that. Well, I guess unluckily for me, that doesn't fucking make any sense. But yeah, I had to move out of the apartment I was in, and I got a new apartment with my brother. And he's currently chilling there now. Unfortunately, I can't stay there because I haven't been able to find a job in the city that the apartment is in. So I had to go to our hometown, and I'm currently being paid to help a family member with a thing. So I got lucky that I had family members who were like there for me. And not everyone does, cuz some people are just out of luck or they don't have anyone in their family who can really help them that they're close with. So, yeah, I got pretty lucky in that scenario, and I'm fine now for anyone who may be concerned. My situation's currently pretty stable. So for context, I was a leasing consultant for like an apartment complex, and I had a previous job as well as like a caregiver. And when it comes to looking for jobs, I'm guessing those aren't what most people are looking for. So I guess I'm having a harder time, which is really confusing because a lot of the jobs I've applied to are entry level jobs that are like willing to take anyone, which I don't know why they would say that if they're not actually doing it. So I am not exaggerating when I say ever since I lost my original job and have started looking for a new one, I have applied to a total of like 234 like fucking jobs just trying to get anything I could that paid at least like $15 an hour cuz like I needed that for my rent cuz a lot of the jobs that you know are mostly hiring are the ones that I literally cannot take, otherwise I wouldn't be able to afford rent. Out of all those jobs, I have only scored 2 interviews, and it's just a nightmare. And like I scored a few more outside of that, but like I did more research into them, and I realized they probably weren't going to like treat me very well if I did work with them. But yeah, I can kind of talk about the 2 interviews that I had since I'm pretty certain I'm not gonna be hired at all. So I had a really fucking interesting one because like I applied to a job in like IT because it said it was entry level and it would teach me shit. And like I liked that stuff before back in like high school especially. So I thought I had a pretty decent chance of like getting in because I even have gotten like awards and stuff for it. But unfortunately for me, I did not get it. But what I got is I went to a literal staffing agency that they set up the hiring process through, which like I guess I should realize that like if they were going to do that and they don't want to do it themselves, they're probably not going to be the most personal, company to work for, but that's besides the point, I guess. I go there, I answer a bunch of simple questions. They seem like they really don't care. For some reason, the guy who was interviewing me was like fucking telling me about how he had like food that like really tore his stomach up, and he said that like he might shit in the middle of it, and I was like, okay, I'm not really here for that, but thank you for the quite literally juicy information you just gave me, I guess. But yeah, no, that interview didn't really go anywhere. It was just a guy who kept talking about himself more often than like trying to actually interview me. And I'm not getting that job, even though it's still up there for some reason. Oh yeah, that's another thing. A lot of these fucking places that like put job openings up, they don't take them down. So you can like apply to places and they're like, oh yeah, sorry, we filled that position. Why do you have it up? Take it down. Seriously, don't get my hopes up. And then the second interview, which, funny enough, everyone probably knows this place. It was Chick-fil-A. And I gotta say, it was the most inappropriate interview I've ever had because it was just a lot of subterfuge to like get answers to questions that like really I didn't need to give them and was not relevant at all. It's just kind of annoying, honestly. Like, I'm still a little confused as to why they cared so much about certain things. Like, almost straight out the gate, one of the first things they, like, tried to ask me was, like, oh, do you, like, participate in a church or in, like, any big community like that? And I don't know how that's relevant to working at a fucking restaurant, like, fast food place. But I told them the truth that I was like a broadcast director and I used to work as one in a church. And they were pretty happy to hear about that for obvious reason. They're Chick-fil-A. They're pretty religious in a sense. So yeah, they were happy to hear about it, and they even asked like a bunch of questions about it. And I think they tried to like see how much knowledge I had about the religion, which I really don't, because I'm not the most religious person, to be honest with you. But like, I guess I knew enough to satisfy them for the time being. And then like they asked about hobbies I had, and I guess they're just making sure I wasn't like someone who was boring or like didn't ever do anything for the sake of like passion alone, which is I guess a fair thing to, make sure on if you're gonna have someone working in like a kitchen. And like I just told them the truth again that I draw a lot and that I make videos a lot. They're more interesting in the drawing part though because of what I'm about to reveal, cuz like what I'm about to talk about now is like purely my own thoughts plus some of the stuff they said. But like as soon as I like told them about the drawing thing, they're like, "Oh, what do you draw exactly? Do you draw like people? Do you draw animals? If you draw animals, do they happen to be standing?" And like I knew I knew from there what they were probably trying to figure out. They were trying to make sure I wasn't like a furry or something because there's if I was one, there's a pretty good chance that I'd also be gay, and that's probably something they don't like considering, they've even had controversies over it. So I just told them, "No, I just draw portraits of people," and I even showed them one. If I have the foresight to, I will put it up on screen for people who are curious. It's okay, I guess. It's not the best, but they liked it, so I guess that's all that mattered in that situation. They're pretty excited about that too. I guess they were like really worried for a second that I don't know. Like I said, those were the only two like decent interviews that I had, so like I don't really have much else to talk about now, so I'll just really go into about how I'm feeling about this whole thing because I imagine there's a lot of people out there who are also looking for a job and they're struggling like I am and they just want to hear someone vent about it, and I guess I'll do that then because I'm honestly also really frustrated. I guess I've never felt more like pathetic, which is really weird to say because I'm like trying my best and it is not for like a lack of effort or anything. I just feel like that I have failed because I lost my previous job and that I am failing because I can't find one, which like I don't think it's really my fault at this point because I've tried everything I could, but like most of these companies and these places that I'm applying to, they'll like say they're like wanting something open, but like every single time, like the few responses I've gotten, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we're entry level, but do you have like any experience at all?" And like sometimes I do, but especially when I don't, they'll be like, "Oh okay, well unfortunately we're looking elsewhere." Why would you claim it's an entry level job if you're needing experience for a thing? That's not an entry level job, so you need to like tell the truth. Like I don't know if that could be labeled as false advertising, but it's frustrating to say the least anyways. And the most frustrating response that you can get when like looking for a job is no response at all. And this is probably the thing that has like frustrated me the most because I wouldn't mind all the difficulties if like they'd communicate and like say, "Hey, you're not getting it." But like there have been like a decent amount where like I've applied to, actually the majority. This is like it's not the exception at all. Where like I would apply somewhere and they'd be like, "Oh, you'll hear from us within like a certain amount of time," and then I don't hear from them ever again. And I'm lucky if I even get that first message saying they'll like communicate with me later. And it's just really annoying because like I feel like if you apply to a position, a company should like have to at least communicate with you. Like that should be, it should be illegal to just ignore someone's job application. Like you have to at least communicate, right? Like at least let them know they're not going to get the job. So like they don't have to sit there wondering, cuz like that's all you can do if you don't have an answer. You can just wonder if you like got it or not. So like you just sit there in like limbo and you're unsure if you should keep applying because like what if you get that job that, you think could be really interesting? Like if you apply elsewhere, maybe they'll like see that and they will not want to hire you. I don't know. It just gets you thinking a lot even if it's like irrational. And I imagine like a decent amount of these jobs I'm applying to, they're not like responding because they don't want to hire me, but maybe because they already filled the position and they just don't want to say that. but like at the same time, they should have to take down job stuff if they have filled the position, because the amount of times where I've also just applied to stuff and they've been like, "Oh, we've already filled the position. We're sorry to tell you that." Like, why is it still up? Because realistically, if you see a job thing, you don't even consider for a second that the job's already taken. You just, it's up still. They haven't taken it down, so it should be good, right? But no, there are times where it's not. And it's kind of bullshit because I can get my fucking expectations up and then I can be like, "Oh, I might actually get this one." And then they'll like just hit you with the cold hard facts, pour the fucking cold water on you that they already have it filled out. They just didn't take it down, which like is just unfair for people looking for jobs. It's at least inconsiderate. It's just annoying. I don't know how to describe it. I doubt I'm the only one feeling like this, but I feel like I've been like brought into an era of things where it's not made for people like us, like people who just want to get a job and like succeed and just, do well in life. I don't feel like it was made for us. Like I'm 21 years old, and realistically I should be like either in college, which I decided not to go with cuz I don't remember why, other than I guess I just wanted to live in the world for a bit. But yeah, it just feels like it wasn't really made for us, cuz like constantly I get reminded that like, you know, things are getting more expensive. Like I'm going to not be able to afford things even if I do get a really decent paying job. Like if I didn't have to pay as much for like gas or like everything else, I probably would be fine with like a job that paid $12 an hour, cuz I don't need a lot to be happy other than like, enough money to get food and stuff, pay rent, and occasionally have like maybe $20 to spend on something for fun. But like I can't get that with a lot of the jobs nowadays, especially with how everything is. Like even at my old job, where like rent was like $285 because I worked at the apartment complex, I still struggled because like I got paid like $12 an hour, and I still had to get stuff like groceries, and like I had an issue where I needed to go to like the hospital to make sure everything was okay, and that was obviously a lot of money. To be exact, I think it was like around $2,000, and all they did was scan me with a thing that probably cost a lot more, but they still didn't need to charge me that much. They were just taking advantage of the fact that I was scared because I was worried of like a certain thing that happened. And by the way, I'm fine. It's just, I just had a little fright and I just wanted to make sure. And there's also, I had to buy a mattress. So I obviously can't afford a mattress in one go. So I had to like do monthly payments on it. And like the monthly payments on the mattress are like around 120 because I bought one for my brother as well. But he pays like his half, so I guess I'd only be paying like 60 a month, but it's still like it adds up to like this $800 that I make every 2 weeks or around that. I don't know. And like I don't know. It's just depressing because like I didn't really have time to like even like really thoroughly manage my finances because I was either at work or I was at home doing chores, cuz with the job I had before, I would work 2 weeks and then I'd get like one weekend off, which I don't need to say is bullshit for the amount of money I got. I don't want to disclose much else about the job because I don't want to get in trouble, but I can at least say that much. I know that. At the end of the day, it's just really tough, and I'm like thinking about all this stuff I'm going through and like relieved at the fact that I have some help from like someone like my sister who I care about very much. She's been like really helpful to me, especially as of late. And I'm just thinking about like all these things I'm struggling with, and I'm wondering like how much worse it would be if I was like homeless. Because hold on, I gotta. But yeah, like I said, I just wonder how like different this would all be if like I didn't have someone to help me. Like, what if I had to sleep in my car? This would be like a lot more dire, and I wouldn't even be able to like record this video that I'm recording now, which I'm only doing because I have more free time than I had for a little while. And all I can really say is like I don't think I'd be doing very well if I didn't have help, because, like, I imagine there are some people out there who are sleeping in their cars or, like, in their old apartments just waiting to get, a job that they can actually pay rent with, or they're wondering if, like, they'll be able to do it in time, because if they don't do it in time, then they'll get kicked out, and I just can't imagine that. Like, I was fortunate enough to get a different way to make money for the small time I was, like, you know, that I'm unemployed, which I'm hoping is a small time. If it lasts a lot longer, then I guess I'll be fine, because, I can depend that my sister will help me with that. But for the people who can't, I can only imagine, and I'm really sorry to hear about that. If there's anyone out there somehow watching this and they're like struggling with that, I'm really sorry to hear about that, and I wish you the best of luck, because I'm sure you probably need that right now. And I hope for everyone else watching this video that is doing relatively well, I hope that if you have anyone in your family or like anyone that needs help, that you help them if you can afford to, because at the end of the day, it is the right thing to do to help people where you can. I'm not saying you have to, but where you can. I don't really have much else to say other than just remain optimistic. It's not completely hopeless, and things will probably turn around soon, I hope, in terms of like the economy, because they have to, right? I mean, to an extent, things have to turn around at some point. That's just how it works. Anyways, it's just been Daryl. I'm struggling to find a job, and I guess that's all I really have to say about it. Everyone have a good day.